Hey there, I'm Becky.
And I'm Lindsay.
And we finally hit record on our candid conversations around conscious parenting.
We're here to talk about all of it.
Ugly parts included.
And share our raw experiences and imperfect insights as we're doing parenting.
Pretty conscious.
In our second building block episode, we chat about the core values at the root of Pretty Conscious and how they emerged. These are the vital pillars of our shared process for all things Pretty Conscious. If you want to skip the trinkets, start at 8:20. All right, let's dive in. Okay, hi.
Hi, friend.
Hi. We're here.
Episode 2.
Yay! Hopefully, in the first try.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do it 2.0. Oh my god. So as I was driving over here, had the idea of like structure for episode to like sort of like soft launch into every episode and just sort of have like a little ritual at the beginning of doing just like a little personal share at the beginning. And it can be anything. It could be a story from the week. It could be a transparency share. It could be like just like those little nuggets that we're always sharing back and forth with each other. Like I'm thinking of like little sayings that you've said that like I've adopted into my parenting. And or just like, oh, like I came across this strategy or I tried this strategy and it really worked. Just like little things that I know I love to like grasp anytime you share them with me. Yeah. And I think that they could be like cool, quick takeaways for people, even if it's just like an intimate look into our relationship, even if it's just like some transparency shares of like, we're here and real and we're in it. And so,
so just like most front of mind, what's here, what's present before we dive into topic.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. I love that.
And then can I share what I was thinking for name?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a song that I really like by Bev Boss called Memories.
Yes, that was so sweet.
And it's a really sweet one. We can link it in the show notes.
Yes.
We'll figure out how to do that.
New learning.
And it talks about how our memories from childhood can like be a place of resourcing for us, and that there's sometimes memories that we need to heal so that and there's one line in the song that says, and are the little things like trinkets you carry with you now. And so like thinking of like for kids it could be like the nursery rhyme, it could be the bedtime ritual, it could be the lullaby, it could be a holiday ritual, those the finger plays they've learned.
It's resources.
Just like those little things that like just stick with you throughout your whole life. And I know that like in our friendship that there are trinkets that like that help me in parenting, that help me just as a human. And so it feels like this is like the trinkets part of the episode.
Yes. I love that. 1,000%.
Yay! Okay.
I'm on board.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'll share my trinket for today. And like why this came up today. So, I was out at the lake in the sun for like 4.5 hours today.
That's a lot of hours.
And so I'm covered in sunscreen and sand and no makeup and my hair's up. But I was just like, on the way over, it was like feeling uncomfortable. Like, oh God, we're going to be recording. And just being like, oh, I just want to share that like that discomfort is here. And like it neutralizes it.
Right.
Because like so I don't want to have
think about it the rest of the time.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to show up for podcasts like done to the nines. Like that's not the point of this.
We've got core values of it that reflect that.
And so like there still is that like messaging deep in me of like, like you need to show up a certain way. And so it just feels good to put it out there that like this is how I'm feeling. That like I'm having a little bit of discomfort around the fact that I am in pajamas and my hair is up and I'm covered in sunscreen and sweat. And just like saying it neutralizes it.
Yeah.
And I think that, that's like something that I have learned and use all the time in my life now. And I think it's something that like we consciously practice, like sort of tying back to the last episode, consciously practice with each other is like stating what's here so that the other person isn't having to guess. And even just like doing it for myself and just sort of like externalizing it into the space
Yeah.
makes it so that it's not just like inside of me.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there it is.
thank you for saying it. And I'm gonna not do the fix it thing.
Great.
Because there's nothing to fix.
Yeah.
It's just present here. What's present is that you're feeling a little, there's a
Yeah.
part of you that feels a little weird about how you're showing up aesthetically
Yeah.
today. Thank you
And,
for
like,
telling me.
and, like,
for,
values aligned is, like,
honoring
yeah.
what part of you needed to say that so
Yeah.
that you can move to the other ways that you want to occupy the space.
Yeah.
Along with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Love
Thanks,
it.
man. Did you have any trinkets you wanted to share before we jumped in?
I think as you were talking, I was just thinking of, it just reminded me of a moment I had in therapy, and I think I mentioned it to you, where I was like, kind of similarly, it's like, we were going through a formal framework, and I just mentioned at one point, I said, yeah, I feel fear about this part of it.
Yeah.
And then the therapist was going and like, oh, like she talked for a while, and then she was like, is that feeling, like, are you feeling reassured? Do you feel like you have enough reassurance to like move forward? And I was just like, oh, to clarify, I don't have any issue with the fear being here. The fear is not a barrier. I just wanted to mention that it's here because that's what's real.
Yeah.
And so it feels very much just like, yeah, it's not a problem to fix. It's just what's here. And I think it's important in relationships to just like mention what's here.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's true in parenting and any interpersonal relationship.
like,
I feel like it's just nice to be like, even like when you're talking to your partner and it's like, I feel nervous to bring this up to you.
Yeah.
I'm still going to.
Yeah. Instantly,
But
like,
that's what's here.
tension breaks.
Yeah.
And, like, there's, like, the commitment to still showing up when you externalize it.
Right.
And I really like that part. And, yeah, I was, like, as I was driving here thinking of this, I thought of that conversation that we had and how it was, like, a similar thing. And,
it's, like, such an ability to disarm the, like, internal threat systems that, like, go off about, like, whatever. The parts that shut off the like wanting to connect, because that's what I view it as. Like, I just want to like clear this barrier by just like offering it a gesture of goodwill.
Yeah.
Like, it matters.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way? Sure. Yeah. We'll give voice to it.
Yeah.
Is that good? Because I want to do this other thing too.
Yeah.
Like, not to dismiss it, but like to
I hear you.
Give it a place to be, you know?
Yeah.
So that it doesn't have to be here, like yelling, like, I need to be heard, you know?
There's like the regulation component to it too. Like I think of like in parenting, of like, I'm feeling really triggered right now. My body feels like it's on fire.
Right. It's like the whole like name it to tame it component. Also, like I think about active listening.
Yeah.
And how if I'm thinking about something that I want to say and I'm just listening to, just waiting for a time to say the thing I want to say, that's not really listening. So it's like a good opportunity to like, this is what's front of mind and what I want to say before, so that I can participate more fully and the way that I want to the rest of the time. Yeah. I love it.
Oh, we cleared it out?
Yep.
We can begin.
Woo!
What are we talking about today, Lindsay?
Okay. So we are talking about the process that we collaborated on, you and me, a long while ago now. It feels like it's been like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, we had like a big old break because of life.
All the things. But we have my little emotional security water bottle.
For those who are listening in, Lindsay was just cradling her giant water bottle.
My giant, not a Stanley.
Yes. Like a little baby.
Yeah. So we went and did a mind map just went through an exercise that to dump all of our thoughts and what felt really important to us about Pretty Conscious and what we wanted to bring to the table, and kind of with the intention of co-creating core values.
Yeah.
Would you call them?
Yeah, I
we
think
created
so.
core values for Pretty Conscious.
Yeah, I think so. Like guiding principles, maybe.
Yeah, and
foundational principles.
I think that's what the core values are.
Yeah.
They're the guiding principles, or
like the foundation
foundational
from which we
beliefs,
are moving.
or whatever. Yeah, maybe like pillars.
Yeah,
the pillars of the core pillars of Pretty Conscious is kind of what we were after, and we thought it would be really cool. I think it was like I don't know, one of us pitched it and the other was like, yes, let's do it that way, where we each created our own, and then like without conferring with each other, and then we each read each other's, which was really fun, and like highlighted the things that were similar that were on the others, and then we co-created a new one all together.
And we'll post a picture.
We'll put pictures. So that you have a visual if that's your jam. But that was the exercise. Yeah. And now we've just been marinating.
I know.
with them for a while.
Yeah. So we started with like our centerpiece, which we talked about in episode 1, and we talked about our like co-created centerpiece. Like now that we are confidently sharing what is so rich and sweet here, and we dove into what is so rich and sweet here with the relationship and how important it is for, and like what it's done for us in parenting and what it means to be conscious in our parenting and doing all of this and the conversations we have and why we want to share it with the world. And as we went through, for those who are watching, we're looking down at our mind map. So if you're like, why are they staring out into space? It's because they're down here. We, like Lindsay said, we went through and read each other's, and then sort of like came up and just like started like naming the things that felt really, really important. Yeah. And they all started to like come together in pairs. Yeah, which was so cool. So cool. And like the pairs themselves felt like similar, but opposites. But also like dependent upon one another.
They all felt like relationships.
Yes.
Like unique relationships.
They all went together.
Dyadic,
And it was really cool to like feel like all the pieces just like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, because we had like that moment where we
just started like writing a list of
all
words.
Of them, and it was like 10 or so.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was it 7? 1, 2, 3,
I think
7. So 14 is
so there were like
landed.
14 or so, and then we just saw those natural groupings. Yeah, and
that's how it felt. Cool. I know.
So cool.
So I figure we could probably just go in and do like each pillar. Yeah, and kind
just
of like
speak to what that is
important. And absolutely. You pick the first one.
Magic and love has been calling out to me from the first moment. What's the pillar magic and love about? Oh my god, a very squishy one. I'll start. Yeah, I'll start if that's okay.
Absolutely.
The love and the magic are like the non-tangible, stunning parts of all of this. Yeah. It's like in a theater production, I view it as like, the stagehands, the folks who are like all dressed in black and like doing all the work, so much of the work to like make everything what it is, and like couldn't be without it, and it's at the core, and it's literally building the foundation of it. Everything, it's how I want to move with Pretty Conscious, is following the stuff that feels like magic and the stuff that is rooted in love. That is not, and love and magic, I feel like, is and I think we framed all of them this way, is we didn't talk about what we don't want. We talked about what we want to lead from, where we want to move from, and moving towards that love and magic feeling. Feels really important to me.
1,000%. I love that analogy of like the stagehands making it all come together in a theater production. I think that there's so much magic and love that's like been unlocked in my life through parenting. Like there's a different kind of like awe that comes when you're a parent and when you're paying attention. And I know that like in a lot of conversations that also like comes up. And so like having that as like a pillar of like, we're both kind of just here like marveling at what
mutual
exists.
delight, the parallel delight.
Even like the really hard shit that like it still feels like magic and love. And that magic and love, that like moving from that place, and like when you were like, it's like it feels like it's the life force energy of the podcast, of this, of our friendship, of what we're doing as parents, as friends, as
and this is what we're celebrating. It's the undertone. It's the cause for celebration.
It's part of like that
so
sweet. It's the sweet and the what's so rich and sweet here. It feels like part of the sweet.
100%.
It's like that giddy feeling that we get when we think about doing it, or getting to hang out with each other, or getting to parent alongside each other, or share stories with each other.
It's the pink and purple watercolor swirl.
Yes. Of it all. Yes. I love. I'm looking to see if we had anything around things like that with our.
I had a whole arm.
Oh yes.
On love.
Oh yeah, and you had me, when I went through yours, you had me write, giddy!
Yes, giddy was on here. That feels part of it. That feels part of magic and love. It's the giddiness. The connection I foster and nurture. I love the connection I foster and nurture. The gifts we deliver.
Which we talked about.
Hold. Yep. Yearning for... I love... Oh, no. Yeah. That's a whole thought.
That's a
but
whole
for
thing,
folks who are yearning for our unique voice, love, passion, generosity, courage.
Lionesses.
Yeah, the lionesses. The gifts that we all hold for those who are yearning for it.
Yeah. I wrote on mine, like along that same line, like I feel energized with creation. That like it feels like this is like where some of that energy comes from. And then I also talked about how it's life-giving, that like doing this podcast together is life-giving. And that feels and all of it, and like leading from that place of wanting to share that with each other and with whoever else wants to listen.
I love that openness of it.
Okay.
You pick next.
I get to pick next.
Yeah.
Let's do... trust and receiving.
Okay.
If it's okay that we're not going in like a circle order. Great. I'm glad that's okay.
And then...
Trust and receiving. That there's so much trust in starting this in the way that we are, and not having it tied to any sort of outcome. There's trust that the process is enough, and trust that it will land with the people that it needs to land with, or like that people that want to listen to it. And the receiving part of being open to receiving what we can get from doing this.
Whatever,
like what, like just being open to the possibility.
Totally.
And there's like that feels scary. So there's like trust in that part too. Like that's why those two felt so linked.
Because the receiving feels
scary.
New.
Yeah.
Being open to that. Yeah. And I know that that's for both of us something that's like through therapy for me. And my own personal like inner work stuff, realizing that one of my biggest challenges is receiving support. As I'm talking about, but like receiving, this is in air quotes, success.
Yeah.
Like receiving
whatever
something
comes
from the effort. I have such fear around.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's
like moving into trusting that whatever comes from it, we
are open for.
Yeah, that we're open and we'll navigate it. Like there's trust in all of the things that will allow us to navigate whatever comes well.
Yeah.
And that it's allowed to feel good. And it's allowed to pour back into our families, our cups, our just like emotional and energetic level of like the energy that we pour in. It's allowed to reciprocate. It's allowed to be reciprocal.
It doesn't have to just be out.
Yeah.
It can be in as well. And there's something I was thinking with the receiving. It went away, but that's okay. That just that flow of energy out and in feels big.
Yeah.
And I remember what it was. We were talking about how like a lot of the trust is like trust that the process is enough. And like for me in my head that sort of goes to like the I don't want to use the word negative, but like the like more like, oh, if it isn't like by definition like objectively successful, then like trust that like that's okay. Yeah. But then like the receiving bit felt very much like, but what if it is a quote unquote wild success? Like would we be open to receiving that? And just like being able to trust and receive all of it. Whatever it's going to be. Yeah,
it feels like a true commitment to just allowing it to be whatever it will be.
Yeah.
And that it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like trusting that there's value, trusting that there's inherent value in it.
Yeah.
Regardless of outcome.
Yeah.
So it definitely feels like a detachment from outcome without
saying like fuck it, I don't care.
Without dismissing that. Like, but keeping healthy presence with the openness that allows it to just exist and evolve.
And it's so funny, like
dynamically.
I know we're talking about each of these things in relationship to the podcast.
Yeah.
But like all of these things also apply to parenting
as
well.
I literally thought the same thing
that
1
like
minute ago.
There's so much like trust and receiving in parenting too. Yeah. That like that same process of like, am I actually open to what this like what can come to me from this? And like, can I trust in this process? And like, there's just all of every single one of these ties back to parenting, which I think is why this podcast isn't just going to be talking about parenting, because it's also interconnected, that parenting is a part of the whole pie. And the whole pie, it all gets mixed together in the same mixer. And so,
And I hope that we get to decide. I know that we will just talk like we do. Yeah. Like when we have conversations together, we're not always explicitly tying it back to parenting. Yeah. Sometimes it's one of those moments where we'll say a few words that just, you can auto-complete the rest. Yeah. But it's like, and with parenting too. So it's like, I don't anticipate that we always 100% of the time will be talking explicitly about how what we're talking about that's not parenting specific applies to parenting, but it always does. Yeah. So just Easter egg it. You know, like it totally. Like for anybody who's listening, connect your own two dots. Yeah. How does this connect to parenting? Because it almost always does.
And if you ever don't see it, you get like always reach out to us.
Yeah, because I can almost guarantee that it applies.
Yeah. I love that, and putting that out there explicitly too. Yeah. Of like, sure, you're tuning in because it's a quote unquote parenting podcast, but it's not. It's a like everything podcast, and it all also ties back. So yes. You want to do the next one?
Sure.
Your pick.
Okay. Okay, rest and tending. So,
it's so much stuff in there. That one just feels so thick.
Yeah.
Full of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, what comes up, the tending is the commitment to consistent effort. And the rest is commitment to giving what comes easily.
Yeah.
But also continuously giving.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nurturing, it's watering the garden before the seeds are sprouting. It's the, it's the keeping it healthy.
Yeah.
Of it all. But also keeping us healthy.
Yeah.
In it all.
Yeah.
It just feels very...
Yeah. And those two things help one another.
Yes.
Right? That in the tending, we can find more rest, and in the rest we can find more capacity for tending.
Yeah.
And just the word tending feels so rich.
Yeah.
That commitment to we are birthing a new baby together.
It feels this is very maternal energy.
Yeah.
This is the relationship that we have to it.
Yes.
To Pretty Conscious is that we rest in it, and we also nurture it.
Yes.
And we also, but it's tending like you tend a garden where there's anticipation of it returning.
Yes.
And it being reciprocal. There's that trust. I mean, this is directly tied to the trust component, the trust and receiving component. It's that they are... Yeah, there's a trust that it is reciprocal, and so we take care of this good thing.
Yeah. 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 Wanting to...
That we nurture, but it also nourishes us.
Yeah. That's... Looking at mine, one of the things on there was we flow, we grow. And I said, as podcasters, as parents, as friends, and as humans. And that feels very tied to the rest and tending too, of the doing what comes easily, the doing the parts that feel good, the parts that feel restful, while also still putting in the effort to grow and to tend to it.
Totally.
Love it.
All of those. I have a whole arm that is rest. Yeah. And it is just that, I have a grow arm too.
Yeah. More empathy.
Yeah.
And even the play feels like rest. That this feels playful.
Yeah.
And that is coming from a place of rest.
The rest is the ease of it.
Yeah.
The rest is the And I think there's a part of it that is a commitment to not... We framed them as positive opposites.
Yeah.
I'm gonna free myself from feeling like I need to only talk in that framing. It was really important to me to capture that we are committed to keeping this something that wouldn't lead us to burnout, wouldn't lead us to fatigue, wouldn't lead us to boredom, wouldn't lead us to feeling like it was a grind.
Yeah.
And that takes work.
Yeah.
So it's the committing to the work to keeping this flowing.
Yeah.
And from that place, not from a forcing place.
Yeah.
Which takes the tending, which takes the consistent work, the
Yeah.
chronic work, the relational work. It takes all of that.
Yeah.
The tending to all of what's in the foundation of Pretty Conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's another part that the magic and love feel very energy, and the rest and tending feel very rooted.
Yeah.
That's the sensations that I'm getting from those.
Totally.
So good. Does that feel complete, or did you have more to say?
That feels complete.
All right, great.
Oh no, hiccups.
Oh no. Do you want to pause?
No.
Okay. We can if you need to.
They'll go or they won't. It's fine.
I am leaning to confidence and humility next.
Great.
Yay!
Every time, it's like we didn't.
What?
I'm feeling this because it has been so much time since we created this.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, good ones. Having this like.
Dang, those people are smart.
Just really hit the nail on the head with these. That's the confidence.
I love it.
It's so funny.
Yeah. I think that, like, when I was first, and I mean all the way up through, like, now still, but when I first started with parenting and process, there's so much imposter syndrome and, like, do I know enough to let my voice be heard?
Right.
And, like, never feeling enough. That, like, oh, I just need to take one more course, read one more book.
Right.
And this being so different, and that I'm allowed to just, like, confidently stand in, this is my unique perspective and story and, like, life that we are putting out there. And, like, sure, there's some knowledge and stuff tied behind it, but, like, that's not the root of it.
No.
And that's not necessarily where the value all comes from. And so, yeah, just, like, trusting in myself that I am enough feels like the confidence. Yeah. And then the humility feels like a really important, just, like, core value, I think, for both of us. Yeah, we're showing up in this not as we are experts. It's like, no, we are down in the trenches with you all. We are doing this too, and we are gonna share that because we, through each other, have found the value of sharing it. And yeah, and, like, just being able to share in it with others and know you're not alone. Like, yeah. So that's, like, the humility part is just, like, really committed to the honesty.
Yeah.
And the, like, ugly parts.
Yeah.
And not feeling like it has to be wrapped up in a bow. And having humility and confidence allowed to coexist.
Yeah. Because the confidence, the confidence is in the subjective truths.
Yes.
The confidence is in the stuff that only we can know about, which is the content of our lived experiences, the way that objective truths or, research findings or whatever parenting frameworks land with us.
Yeah.
That's where we're coming from, is like, how does it land with you? How does it show up in our lives? How do we reconcile and incorporate and integrate the things that we both are always learning, because that's just the nature of who we are.
Yeah.
We both just are always gonna seek out new information, following curiosity and whatnot, and never coming from a place of we know everything. And that does not detract from the inherent value of our lived experience. Yeah. And not ours uniquely.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Honoring the inherent value of each person's lived experience, and that there is value there, and that you can acknowledge the not knowing everything and not doing it all perfectly without surrendering your confidence in that you know what your experience is. And confidence in my mind is a commitment to keep learning. Because the humility is acknowledging that we don't know it all, and the confidence is that, and that's okay, I'm going to keep exploring. I have the confidence to keep taking in more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if that's feedback, if that's whatever, yeah. Confident that I can then discern whatever comes in. Yeah. And take what serves me and leave what doesn't. And face the shadow work components that will certainly emerge through all of this. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's just that, This is a meaty one too. I mean, they're all meaty.
I know, that was sort of
the whole thing. It's all meaty.
Very true. Yeah. I'm looking to see if there's anything else that felt important to that. Yeah, I think like here I put we make a difference. For me, you, us, all of us. Our voices and perspectives are valuable inherently. And that like, it's just inherent to it, and that there can be confidence in our perspective.
Just the confidence to share because of how we're framing things up. We're not framing ourselves as expert voices. Like, that's not it. We've read a lot of books and stuff, but that's not the... sure, we learn from each other, but I swear more of what I learned from you is watching how you apply things that, maybe we both read the same book, and watching you put it into action is different. Yeah. And the value of our relationship and what we co-create together is the being held in the actual moments where it's not by the book. And where it's messier than the scenarios painted out by our favorite authors, It's messier than that. There's more nuance than that.
And I think that like ties into like the pretty conscious, that like, the candid conversations and even the ugly parts that that in sharing that we get to be held with each other. But I think the hope is that other people get to feel held by the knowing that other people are doing it too.
And that's the confidence that sharing that is worthwhile. Yeah.
Like the confidence to share the humility.
Yes.
I don't think that's using those words grammatically correct, but I think
fine.
You know what I mean. All right, what's next, friend?
Okay, I was like, is courage on there? Because it is. And I remember talking a lot about courage on mine. And so we do have a safety and courage arm.
I love that you saved the last one for last, because I was thinking that one should go last.
You did?
No, not safety and courage, this one.
Oh, okay. Got it. I'm with you now. I'm like, I felt like that was only 6.
No,
Oh, no, that's rest. I thought it said zest, and I was like, I don't remember zest being on there, but I like
zesty.
That feels like it goes with magic and love.
Magic and love. Okay, safety and courage. Oh, do we?
Gifts and belonging.
Oh, we do. You're right. Okay.
Yeah. There's 3 more still.
Cool.
Okay. Safety and courage.
You were saying that, like, you remember we talked a lot about courage.
We talked a lot about courage.
We did. And safety. That, like, I know one of the ones that I wrote was I can hold more of it. And that, like, that's what, like, the safety and courage feels like. That in the sharing with each other, in the, like, transparency of it all, in the communicating about it, the integrating, the synthesizing, like, all of it. I have more space. Everything becomes more spacious. Through that, like, safety that comes in relationship, in sharing. And it allows for so much in life when there is more access to feelings of internal safety. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know exactly where I was going with that. If you want to jump in a bit.
I think
trying to think.
what comes to mind, and I'm not sure exactly why, but what's coming to mind is how we've talked about there's just so much, it's already happening in our community, in our very directly impacted little community, about how whatever we've got going on and the safety that's here and the model that we have very intentionally been tending, it overflows. It's oozing out everywhere.
Yes.
It oozes out into our family.
Yeah.
It has expanded our network of friends. It was like you and me.
Yep.
And since then, it feels like it's expanded into like all sorts of different realms and like things that take on then a life of their own. It's expanding even further out into forest school networks and co-op preschool network. Like whatever is here is expanding. It's like very trickle-down economy, trickle-down economics, except for safety. And like the receiving part and the courage part, honestly, is that some of those cups that it gets to trickle into are ones that we also own.
Yes.
Or like that we also receive, that we get poured into from what's here. And the courage is that it's worth sharing, and it's the knowing that we're not for everyone, and not in an exclusive way, in a way that we know this is not going to land for everybody. This will feel cringe for lots of people. Yeah. And there's enough safety here that's okay. Yeah. And that I can open my arms wider to feel more. Yes. To take more in. Yeah. And that's such like a courageous,
like the safety that comes brings about more courage to open wider. Right. To it all.
Yeah. And it feels important to acknowledge that this is not comfort territory. No. This is not necessarily, I just love to hear myself talk, which like, girl, you know I do. But this framework, in this kind of platform, like I love to chat with folks who know me well and where there's already the safety. So to chat in this way where it is open-ended and it's open to interpretation, it's open to being received by whomever. Yeah. That's
like the possibilities of being misunderstood or misinterpreted or all are there.
Labeled anything.
Yeah. and like it's coming from the courage to do that is coming from the overflow of safety that does exist.
Yeah. And I want to do it anyways. Yeah. Because there's so much here.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. And also I just keep thinking of wanting to for as far as pillar for Pretty Conscious too, that safety is an important core value for us in wanting people who are listening into the podcast to get a sense of safety with us. Yeah. That they are being held and tended to in this space. Yeah. Even if it's in the parasocial relationship type way. Yeah.
I think that's important too, and maybe there is a listener statement that we draft somewhere. Yeah. That is, saying all the things that we might not say in each episode, but it is we have nothing but goodwill towards whoever's listening in. Yeah. I don't know, something that honors that. And the courageous bits about holding safety, I think about how in Home Glow community, I have to be transparent and clear about a big part of it is making it a safe as possible place but I then have to define for whom. Yeah. Because
it's not necessarily going to feel that way for all the folks.
Yeah. And so it's, it's identifying that and taking the brave step to be kind and clear about what the values are so that you can make an informed decision about if you're aligned with that or not.
Yeah,
it just feels like
the like clear communication part feels really important, and stating the things out loud, like even like going back to the trinkets of like like all of that does help to create safety in the space. I think, and not dancing around the things that like are here, and leaving it up for people to guess.
Right. Yeah. And the courageous component of saying out loud the things that it's an integrity thing too. It's like not watering down what we're talking about. And that it doesn't mean that we have to talk about everything. We talked about this.
That's gonna be another pillar. Discernment.
But it's what we choose to talk about here. We talk about it all the way. You know? we don't water it down to be more easy to take in necessarily, you know?
Because then that's not true to the experience, and like it could be like more shame inducing for other people, which then reduces safety. Like there's all of that is so important on the flip side to like build that safety in.
It's reminding me of the moment, and I shared something really tender with you in your car. And it was like, don't look at me. Please just look away. And I'm just going to say the hard thing. And I'm just going to say it all the way out. And when I'm done, then I'm going to leave. And we'll talk about it later. Or whatever.
And you're like, I'm not open to a hug tonight. And
don't touch me.
Just don't touch me. I'm going to get out of the car and leave when I'm done.
That felt very much tied to courage and safety. Like,
absolutely.
But it was like in service of the safety, I am going to courageously share, and I can do that because it's safe enough here. And
being able to like ask for what you need, and all of it. So good. Okay. All right. Next up, second to last,
gifts and belonging.
Oh yeah. That gifts. I'm gonna start with belonging.
Sure.
In mine, I kept writing for me, for you, for us, for all of us. Like it came up in like so many different ones. And that's I think where the like you helped me put the word belonging to it. But like that component of this not just being for me, this not just being for you, this not just being for us. This is like it is all of us. It's for anybody who is out there that wants to listen to it, the collective. And also allowing it to be for us.
This feels like the very symbiotic relationship between the universal oneness. Like it's the gifts that come from our belonging to the universal oneness of everything. And doing this and putting what we've identified as gifts between us. And not gifts in the sense of like we're gifted and we have but like no, the stuff that has been the stuff that we have received as gifts in our own lives through our relationship or whatever it is that we're trying to channel outward now. It feels like feeding back into the universal oneness. It feels like doing our part to catalyze the things that we have been receiving from. We've been receiving through all of this for really,
and now we get to like turn the mirror out.
And like for that cycle to continue. And to move into not just a harvesting mode. But to okay, let's identify what is here and and pass it all. Like turn it back into the library.
Yeah.
So that somebody else can check it out. Even if it is just through seeing it happen.
Yeah.
Even if it is just through, all of the different ways that, you know, osmosis can move things.
And just, the sense of belonging that I hope people get when they listen in, of like, they belong to this community of parents. They belong here because they are a parent that is trying. They belong here because they do. And that's just like, I know that like in our little circle of friends that we have, that sense of belonging feels like one of the biggest gifts. And same thing, just like wanting to share some of that back out with folks, and inviting them to receive as much or as little of it as they can / want.
It's the whole, it's not that there was ever any intention for it to be exclusive or anything. And by nature of just, you know, we were existing in it and it was oozing everywhere, but like, you know, slowly but surely. But this feels like putting it out, you know, going public, so that with these permeable belonging barriers, where it's like, if you want to be here, you belong here. There is belonging available to you here. If you want it.
And that's how you've always like framed stuff with Homeglow community too. Of like, if you want to be here, we want you here. And it's just like that feeling of intense belonging. Intense in the best way. Parentheses complimentary.
Parentheses complimentary.
It just feels good to be like in the collective. Like it feels like, I don't know, the like hand gesture of like wrapping your arms around and bringing them in. That like, you know, like I said, the magic and love is the energy up, the rest and the tending is the roots down, and the gifts and the belonging is the big bear hug in. And I'm gonna like go postural with it. Which I know you love.
I love. What shape does your body make when you talk about gifts and belonging? And it's this.
A big scoop them in if they want to be here. Anything else with that one feel important to you?
I don't think so. I think that feels pretty complete.
Cool.
Yeah.
The last one. Sacred authenticity and discernment. And this one just feels important. For all of these other things to exist, this one feels important. I think.
I don't think that any of the other ones would exist
without the others.
Sacred authenticity. And the discernment feels like sacred authenticity feels like the value of it. And then discernment is how we keep it safe. How we keep it sacred. I mean, that's the sacred part. Like the discernment is how we keep it sacred. The discernment is how we decide what we choose to share, and how we choose to navigate novel territory, and how we choose to approach things and communicate. I mean, it's just, it's in everything. The discernment is in everything to keep it sacred and authentic.
That those like two things are so tied. I know when I was writing mine that like two of them that came out that felt important was we get to carve out a space for us that is ours. We move forward with mindful awareness around that responsibility to our values, to radical honesty, and to authenticity. And then I also wrote that like we hold space for it all, that like it isn't pretty and packaged, but real, and talks about what is true. And I said we are honest about the stuff withheld. Because like that's the reality, is we aren't going to share every raw detail of our lives. That would not be responsible.
No. And it wouldn't honor any of the other pillars.
Yeah,
here.
Exactly. that would not honor what we're doing here. Right. But also we're not going to leave it out without saying something about it.
Yeah.
Of like, that one's too raw to share right now.
Yeah.
Or that one's one that I'm still holding. Or because, otherwise then it turns into the like, here's the pretty packaged version of what happened. And then all of a sudden that creates the rift of like belonging and shame.
No
and
trust, no safety, no
exactly.
No predictability, no, There's not integrity. This isn't a coherent narrative. It feels so viscerally like those moments where I am having such intense emotions in me. And for radical honesty's sake, and to help my kids make sense of their experience, letting them know I'm having feelings that are too intense for me to share, but you're not wrong in seeing that they're there. Yeah. They're there. I will share with you what I can when I can. And some of this is a not now or a not ever. Yeah. But you're noticing something real. Yeah. And so it's even just saying like something real is here. And if you're picking up on that, congratulations. Excellent observation skills. And I also owe it to myself to protect myself and my well-being and I'm still feeding the safety in me. Yeah. And that's discernment. Yeah. It's being a good caretaker of me too. Yeah. I wanted just to acknowledge all of the body things that I saw happen as I was talking about. You know how I'm sure we'll probably do a full episode about like making the implicit explicit. Yeah. And just like that whole thing is like so important to me and my safety, like my internal safety, and being around people and not being able to like in the past not necessarily believing my own subjective truth and like that comes from gaslighting and things like that. And just like hearing you model the things that you say to your kids like that, I just like my shoulders just dropped and like I just like there was just a relaxing, like the tension relaxed. And so that's what all of the visceral body reactions were too. I love it. I want to do it again. It was so nice. Yay! It was so nice to see. I want to see my friends.
That just feels so good to hear, and like just thinking of what that offers your kids and our kids and everybody like that. And like sort of going full circle back to the very beginning of the episode to the trinkets that we talked about today. That like that sort of is the same thing of just like this is what's here. You're not wrong in noticing it, and like we're not going to touch it right now. I'm not ready to share it right now, or and that's so important in like conversations with our partners, especially in like conflict. I know that's something that Tyler and I have been working on is like, hey, you're not wrong in noticing this. I'll let you know when I'm ready to talk about it.
Well, and here's like to continue how it shows up, like with the way it ties to parenting, and also, but to illustrate here how I hope it allows people listening in to respond, is that as soon as I tell that to my kids, oh, okay, I'm going to return to play. So it's that it's that trust. We're not going to overshare on accident. Anything that we share is because we're ready to courageously share it. And so there doesn't need to be, there's no burden then on the listener to be like, I feel like I shouldn't be listening to this conversation. You know, like that feeling of like, ooh, did they mean to go that they just far? Overshare? No, we're doing it on purpose. Yeah. What we say on purpose and for a reason. And even if one of us says something and doesn't feel good about it afterwards, we will take it out. So whoever is listening can trust that whatever is being shared is being shared intentionally with discernment, and that it's not coming from a place of a lack of belonging for us. That like, because I know I come from a history of feeling like I had to, like I owed new relationships everything to earn belonging. Like whatever you want, you can have it. Whatever you want to know about me, I'm an open book. Just anything, any weird question you got, I'll answer it. You know,
zero discernment.
Like somehow I've got to I'll share everything in the hopes that maybe one of the things will be something that you can connect with, or that you like, or that you like. And it's like, that makes me sad.
I know.
I can feel it. It's so sad.
It's so sad.
But it's not coming from that place when we're sharing here now.
Yeah.
I feel like that feels important to call out. That everything that we're doing is thoughtful and intentional and with discernment.
Yeah. Which then, like, the trust and the receiving, like all of it, like that just like goes and like does a full sweep of all the words of that the discernment sort of allows all of it to be safe enough to permeate.
I love that. It's a good one.
It's a good word.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like we've hit a couple. We said osmosis. I think I said permeable.
Yeah.
Boundary wouldn't Yeah. Permeate.
Love it. That's it. Those are the pillars. Should we go through them just like...
Just a little recap?
Yeah. We'll just do them in the order that they're in here. So trust and receiving.
Well, let's say them all together.
Okay.
Like with the center.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Now that we are confidently sharing what is so rich and sweet here, there is more. Magic and love, rest and tending, safety and courage, confidence and humility, trust and receiving, gifts and belonging, all through sacred authenticity and discernment.
You started with that.
Magic and love. I started with magic.
I think you started with magic and love.
If not, magic and love is in there too.
Yes. Beautiful.
I like it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it.
So glad we did it.
I know. Me too.
And I feel like we should, look, listen back in a year and see how it lands and evolve it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was on mine was we open, we expand, it evolves with us. And it just feels, it's its own living, breathing thing that we get to tend to, so.
Totally.
I love it. I love having these pillars that we get to move forward from.
Yeah, and I think we left a lot of blank space on this one so that, I don't know, so that as time moves on, I imagine like quotes going on here that serve each pillar. Yeah. Like from podcast episodes and stuff, or like moments that really feel like they embody one of the pillars. Yeah. I'm excited.
So excited.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
I'll see you next time.
Hey, we know time is hard to come by. Thanks for spending some of yours with us. And remember, you can always reach out. We're real people and we're interested in what's real for you too. Do you have questions or feedback? Anything you'd like to hear a chat on? Check the show notes for where to find us.